This is WSN. Love it or...
What happened?
Love it or shut
Take it
up.
from the top, stand by.
This is WSN.
Repeat.
Love it or leave it. The underdog's on top, and you can either agree or disagree with her. But either way, the tribe is all here. This is a tribe called Jess. You can call the show anytime at 855-77-WYLDE. That's 855-779-9533.
Bang your head against the wall.
And welcome to A Tribe Called Jess. And now my tribe is complete because Frank the Tank is back in the...
back, baby.
He's back. God help us all. In the we are coming to you from the Salisbury Center Studios. I said center. It is at the Salisbury Center.
Yes.
Salisbury Studios on the Wylde Style Network, fueled by Monster Energy. And you can call in the show anytime we're on at 855-77-WYLD. That's 855-779-9533. Who's your girl? Got that down.
I see that.
And Wylde is WYLDE. And please subscribe to us on YouTube, the Wylde Style Network, and follow wherever you get your podcasts on any app. We are on there, and we appreciate it so much.
Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
So the crew's back, and we have a guest here. We have Dan Gray with us tonight. What's up? Can you
Dan
turn
the
Dan's mic
man.
up just a little? I can't hear him very well.
What is up, y'all?
And say that to me again.
What is
There
up,
we
y'all?
go.
There we go.
Third time.
There we go. Now I can hear you. How you doing?
Great.
Are you
Glad
nervous?
To be here. No.
No, not at all. Not at all. I almost threw up the first year. I think I still almost threw up because I don't know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I did that in the parking lot. So.
The verbal train wreck called Jess. What's up, Julio July Diaz?
Nothing much, just, getting ready for some football.
We'll get there tonight. We're going to talk a little NFL. What a week in the NFL.
I know,
A lot
it's
of
crazy.
controversy going on. And I have Johnny Caniford back there running the show. And I have my lifer, Jeff, sitting out there diligently working because we have lots of events. So it's good to see everybody. And Dan opened, we were going to talk to him in a bit. He opened for Will Greeley, and it got a little hectic. And so I want to ask him a bit about the DJ, some DJing questions, so on and so forth, and participate in some conversations because he's always insightful. And what else? What else do we have going on? This weekend, we have a lot going on at
at the center.
Salisbury Center. We have TCB Fights. That is DMV's longest running and most successful Muay Thai kickboxing promotion. The doors will open at 3, Kids Exhibition at 4. And then we have the main card starting at 7. So to get tickets, that is Get Wylde, and that's WYLDE.
Yes.
.com. So you can get tickets there or tcbtickets.com. We also have the micro wrestling, which I know everybody is excited about, June 27th. We have that coming up. So that'll be super fun as well. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. 3.3 wrestlers.
3 point. Are you referencing the penis conversation from last show?
Yes, obviously, of course. 3.3 is going to be the perfect measurement for everything moving forward. So
I can't remember. Well, give me a sec. We'll get to that.
Dude, you look like you're blind with those shades.
that's the point.
So last week he was like, had you on, had the shades on, and I'm like, what are we, Frankie now?
I had to be here for 2 people.
I mean, I get it. Celeb, big time celebs.
What were your eyes looking at, Julio? That's why,
now he's looking at you sitting.
well, that's why I put my pillow here so he can't see anything.
All 3.3 of it. And I want to say to my son, thanks for hopping on. The shorts were awesome of Nico hopping on. He's just such a great kid. We had a great brunch on Sunday for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
He's just awesome. And it was cute when I posted that. One of our friends old DC friends messaged me and said, your relationship with your son is enviable, which I thought was very, very sweet. And I was like, thank you so much. We've had our hard goes.
Wait, was it a coincidence that it was the 1 year anniversary that he came on the show?
I know, right? It was Mother's Day, and then he popped. Well, I had asked him to pop back on for Mother's Day. So, so just cool. And then I went out to Diffuse at Culture.
That party was lit.
That was just... I haven't been able to go. They don't do them all the time, the Sunday parties. And Rez opened for Paco Asuna, and that place was just proper party, proper lit, all good vibes.
Yeah.
It reminded me, had like Space Miami vibes. Super cold. It's a day party. I was very happy. And when
They should do more Sunday parties. I like Sunday day parties.
I don't, because it sets me back for Monday, but Saturday day.
Oh, okay, so Jessica doesn't like it, forget it for the rest of us.
I'm too old for the Sunday parties.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know he's with me. Come on.
Oh, God.
I mean, once in a while. Like, I like that Diffuse isn't all the time.
Yeah, I'm not saying every Sunday, but like maybe once a month.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind
Yeah.
going and doing a pool party at noon, and then I'm home by like 8. I mean, but I was home. We went over to the new arcade after. I have to give it to arcade. Like, the talk of the club, the way it looks.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to reach for like the exclusive club vibe. I will say the way it's decorated is very cool. Have you been, Dan?
No, I haven't been.
It's very cool. So it's
dope.
in the walls, and I mean, well done. Like, very
Yeah,
gorgeous.
for you old folks, it's like retro, like 80s when y'all grew up.
He's younger than you. How old are you?
Shots
47. How old are you?
42.
Yeah, I'm 49. I'm the old head. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
I love you guys.
So it had like VCRs, and the whole bar was just
What's a
gorgeous. But it
VCR?
was the Pac-Man, it was.
You need to explain to Julio what VCR is. It's before its time.
Shut up. God, I hate you.
Was it the Betamax or was it what was the other?
They had the old computer screens that we learned on in high school, in the walls. They
Didn't have computers back when you were in high school. Stop making that up.
I learned on
Oh, my
DOS.
God.
I learned on DOS, and I had to make like a loop.
Damn, DOS?
Yeah.
Christ, Jess.
Well,
Well, we all learned on DOS.
no, he did not. He's 31.
Well, this side of the
Julio, he's talking about them.
Hey, you know
I
what?
know.
If it ever comes up and it has, I can still do a little DOS.
It's like they played video games and it was Pong. You know,
Yeah, Fong, Atari. Remember Atari? Oh.
Atari?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you making fun?
No, I just
No, it's
make sure we're
Atari.
talking about the
Sir
same-
Philly.
I don't know which
Yeah,
one
right.
either. I was like,
I have hey, John, just so you know, teeny bit of like an echo or something, but I'm okay. I'm just letting you know.
Is that space in your
the
head?
retro.
Man,
I,
he's been gone for just 1 week.
it's abuse.
Can I
It's
tell I
abuse.
miss you? Can I tell I miss you?
I don't
You
mind.
gotta make up for the
I,
time.
I like that he zoomed in. I like when
Just
he's
let him
there.
know if he's being too funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, my nose is itching because of the allergies.
Who
So
just-
bad.
Who just said let me know if I'm being too funny?
You're always too funny. Lately, you're pushing your limits. You think you're famous. Now I'm off. Now I hear nothing. There we go. A little bit back. There we go. So, Frankie, you're back. How was El Salvador?
It was great. It was great. It was good to see my parents.
You hadn't seen him in 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah. But you know what, though? I didn't cry. I saw mom, gave her a big hug. She did cry.
It's probably because she's like, look at you, ugly.
What happened to my son? That Now, she was surprised how happy and healthy I looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, moms always want to know too, right? Like that's hard for a mom not to see their son. I mean, you kind of just don't like when Nico's away. I just don't try not to think about it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'll worry about it. And I see parents put themselves through nightmares, and I got to trust in my kid that he'll be smart about being stupid and do the right things that I told him. And I just try not to think about. But we always worry.
And I didn't want to say anything to Julio, but it took her like 3 days to ask about him.
Oh, good. I'm not surprised.
That's fine.
Are you jealous, Julio?
No, I know I'm the favorite. I gotta.
Are
know.
you?
Oh yeah, hands down.
Why?
It's obvious. It's like I can't even explain it. It's just it's a fact. You know, like
You're the
this-
baby.
Like this monster is pink. That's how obvious it is.
I love it. Is he the favorite?
Man, I got 15 years on him.
Yeah.
I got spoiled for 15 years before he came.
True. Yeah. I was really pissed when my brother came along. I'm like, you ruined everything for me. Because I was, at the time, I had my great-great-grandparents, grandparents, everybody alive, great-uncles, great-great-uncles, uncles, aunts, and I got everything. And
This
then
is early 1900s?
Yeah, my family lives a long time. I probably won't, but my family does. And shout out to my amazing grandma.
Yes.
She will
Sure,
be
it's
90 on Sunday.
I know.
Awesome.
It's insane.
I love her so much. She's been such a huge part of my life and just great guidance. And so, Grandma, I love you so much, and keep on kicking, baby.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
Yeah.
Getting her the Taylor Swift vinyl record for her birthday.
I might. She might like it.
See, especially-
She has her friendship bracelet. She likes it.
Get her the 45.
She has something.
They have the clear vinyl.
The clear. Okay.
That's pretty cool, huh? So anyway, well, I'm glad you're safe and back, and it
Yes.
looked amazing, and it looked beautiful, and you're going again, yeah?
Yeah, for Father's Day.
And so you were there for Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Josephine, I'm taking my oldest with me this time.
Yeah.
And Julio's coming.
Yeah. Oh, you're going too. So I have
Yeah.
no show. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll
And we're
figure it
bringing,
out.
surprise, we're bringing Jessica with us. We're coming live from El Salvador.
I have too much going on. My little vacays will be in July. So anyway, going to last week's show, thank you to Nancy and Gabby for coming on.
Yeah.
We had such a blast.
It was. It
My
was fun.
favorite one-liner was from Julio. He's like, the boat was getting banged too. And when you hear it back, it's so funny because we were talking about me walking in on Nancy and
Oh,
her
God, I
husband.
can still picture that. You guys
having
are so
sex.
graphic about it.
And she's like describing it and go, ah! Oh, I wasn't as graphic as I could have been because I walked, because her boat, I forget what footer it was. So it's, you're not right there, but I was like, oh God. Oh God.
She was like, my feet were up on the ceiling.
Yeah, because you can stick your feet to the ceiling. I mean, I get it. It's okay.
As someone has been in that position before, she gets it.
Well, we can only hope. We
The
can only
favorite
hope.
position, missionary. Getting that 3.5-inch dick.
Okay, so that's what was so hilarious. Like, talking about. Oh, and shout out to her boyfriend too for jumping on. That was brave of him.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the conversation. I thought listening back, the conversation was so good. From the penis size, I'm just dying at the stories and Gabby's stories. And where did 3.3 come from?
I know she
Is
said
it-
something about 3 inches, and then I guess she was trying to be a bit more accurate, and it was like 3.3 or 3.25, and we rounded up.
We'll have to ask her. Did she actually measure? That's where I was like, where
Yeah.
did that come from?
Her tape measure broke it down to eighths of inches.
Stand still. I have to measure exactly what I like. Fair enough. Whatever. If you like it, you like it. And then 5.5 being the average. You like what you like. Nancy and I's expression in that was like, she's like, it's okay, wouldn't you? And we're like, nope, would not. The average is 5.5. I mean, try to be an extra credit type guy.
Extra credit.
Be an overachiever, guys.
Be a 6 inch.
Be a
What's with all
Viagra
these
taker.
6
It's like
foot,
5.5
6 inches?
It's like 5.5 from all the way from your ball sack.
According to science, as long as you're shallowing, a girl's having the best orgasm she's ever had in her life.
Yeah.
So who gives a fuck? So I thought that was really fun. And then we talked about, we went on to talk about making love versus sex. And then some guy put in the, fucking as a category. And we said that it's the rawest form of sex is fucking in that married couple survey. And I thought that was good. So I was looking up stuff today online along the lines of that. And this question came up, and I'm curious to what your answer is, because I kind of think it's true that women need to feel loved to have sex, and men need to have sex to feel loved. In a relationship. Would you guys say that's true as guys?
I gotta take these off so I can needle in my eyes.
I think that's one of those things that with age, men can change and can drift over the other way. Where you
Like meaning what?
Where they're going to be very similar to females in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Where I think very young.
They don't give a shit.
No, as a teenager, as a 20-year-old, something it doesn't. It's very much fungible.
Animalistic.
Exactly. Later on, I think that sort of you run the risk of having meaningless sex,
Yeah.
and so I think it becomes much more important about sort of relationships, and I think it's the divide isn't as stark.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Because as you mature, you get more in touch with your emotions, so it could become more.
Yeah, and I think all guys I've kind of talked to, my guy in our, guy circle of friends, the older they get, the more they're like, I can't. As much as I would love to say, I'm going to go out there and reel everyone, I have to have some kind of connection, like emotional, not like love. They're saying like some kind of connection. I can't just go out and have sex with.
Yeah, because then it
women.
makes it, if there's not much of connection, doesn't it just make it animalistic?
Well, I'm talking from a
Right?
guy's perspective. I know for me, I have to, and I don't even want to at this point.
At this point,
That's a lie.
At this
want
point,
to,
I
but
am a
I'm just
robot.
like, I'm over it. I'm over it. So I found what was interesting is that we talk about this all the time, that, sex. I preach that on the show, right?
Yeah.
It reduces arguments. It creates communication. I don't want to be redundant. And it provides security for both parties. It creates more security, less insecurities, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll always preach that equal sex and communication are equal. And the one of the reels I watched, the guy co-signed that, right?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons people stop having sex, and I'm curious of you guys from a guy's perspective on this one, is because micro disappointments or, resentments are happening along the way that aren't addressed. Therefore creating anger and resentment, right? And I agree with that. I think we're not addressing things along the way, and that's what happens. And therefore, I think not only does that break down your sex life, it breaks down your relationship.
Yeah.
I
do you
think it
guys
creates
think?
barriers for intimacy. Full
Yeah.
stop. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I think the answer that I kind of consecutively got in reading today was, therapists were saying on TikToks, I mean, legit or not, it makes sense that if you take your partner, go out, and we're talking about relationships, guys, not some weird just situationships and all that, and do a check-in with them and say, what the fuck am I doing to annoy you? And just straight up, just like that. Because I think it's important, because we do stuff to annoy each other. But I think if we allow that path to communication, we clear the air, we can also say, oh, God, I didn't mean it like that, but I can adjust that behavior. Therefore, we can be railing in the bedroom again. Which I think Nancy alluded to with her and her husband last week, where, if something's not vibing, because they have sex a lot, guys. I admire their sex life. Then they do a check-in with each other, like, what's up? And they fix it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, sex is like the ultimate form of intimacy, right? You're vulnerable.
I find fucking is the ultimate form of intimacy, but whatever. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Audience, I'm joking. I'm going to get hate mail. You ratchet bitch.
So, I mean, it requires so much vulnerability to be intimate with somebody. So if there's any kind of problem, emotional, physical, if you're arguing, you're not communicating, then that openness isn't 100%.
Yeah.
Right? So the better you get along, the more you communicate, then the intimacy becomes even more amazing.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to being intentional, right? Because we preach that on the show, and again, not to be redundant, but like, if you're intentional in doing those check-ins, look, I think people sometimes are like, I hear this a lot on like, oh, we just go too far, just have a relationship. All fine and good. They're failing left and right. The divorce rate is up more than ever. Granted, I think economics go into that too. Money is a driver of divorce all the time.
Yeah, is that the number one? I think it's like really up there.
Money, and I think FOMO. People just think something better. And I'm going to tell you right now.
What does homo have to do with
FOMO?
Oh, FOMO, okay.
Don't say that. Don't ever say that. I think FOMO drives a lot into it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think people are always, they think there's a next best thing. And I'm like, you water the grass where you are. I mean, unless you're in some kind of like abusive relationship or something like that, I think you water the grass where you are and you can make things work. People are just quick to bail.
Yeah. It's a disposal society that we live in, right? You're very quick to just bail and move on to something else. And putting the time in and having those tough conversations about what am I doing wrong? How can we fix this? People would rather just not deal with it, and that's just easier to ghost, right? It's wild just how quick people are to give up on people today versus,
I mean, if you have a foot out the door already, then how can you actually make it a special, like, relationship, right? Like, how can you have a good communication? How can you have great sex if you kind of have a foot out the door?
And I think, remember that episode we did where I said when you start saying those things and really thinking, granted, we all have our days where we're like, fuck him.
Yeah, of course.
It's fair, it's human. But I always say love is a choice, commitment's the value.
Yeah, correct.
Like you are choosing, and this is part of our later segment, to love this person. And love isn't a fucking joyride, guys. It goes in and out, and it takes work, but real deep love is forever present if you're doing the work, and relationships are work. If you don't want to do the fucking work, stay single. But it gets harder and harder if you're not intentional. Just like if I'm not intentional about my day, I miss out on money and sales, or I miss something, or whatever that is. And we all have those off days.
You don't quit your job because
if I'm not intentional on some level about my friendships, my son's college check-ins, like, shit goes to shit. It should be the same for your relationships. Yeah. So, Julio, any opinion here?
I know. Agree. No, it's true.
I'm glad you have so much insight to the table for our viewers.
As someone that was dying to get into a relationship.
Are you?
Oh, no, I thought we were saying that for later.
We are. Okay. Fair. That's fair. Look, you can, do you remember the Hershey's Kiss? It says "Wish you a Merry Christmas." It's still my favorite to this day. It came out in the early 2000s. At the end, the little papers at the top.
Yeah.
It goes. Phew, phew. It's still my favorite. It'll forever be my favorite.
Great. Now I'll be like, chocolate.
I know. Oh my God, I've been on a chocolate binge. Anyway, I thought that was a cool little tidbit tying up making love versus sex versus fucking. I'll go back to it.
But you can have all that when you have a great relationship. That's what's great about it.
And Nancy and I said that too. Like, still fuck us.
No, because there's times where you just like, there's times like in a relationship with things are going so good. Your girl does something, you just like, man, it's so hot. I want to fuck the shit out of you.
And when Nancy, she's married Wylde, and I was in long-term committed relationships, and again, that I don't ever think that suffered, and it's like we still have sex with us, and to me, sex is like ride the pony, bitch, on the lunch break. Let's go.
Yeah.
Making love is a more intense, and then girls still want to raw dog it with their man. And it sounds vulgar, and I think people take it wrong. There's nothing wrong with that wild sex, and the more you're, and the
whoa,
and the more you're communicating.
Wardrobe, I need to change.
The more you're communicating about these nuances and things that annoy each other, clears the air, and I think just opens for that. And I think when you have that communication, you're able to say and do wilder things in bed.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then those 3.3 inches feel like 10.
No tenors, no.
That was way too much.
I can't.
Went too far with that.
I can't tell that story. Anyway, oh God.
We don't have time to go that deep.
I thought I was dying. Anyway, all right. So, before we get into anything crazier, Dan, you are a father, work a full-time job. Tell us a little about yourself, and you DJ. And I kind of wanted to interview you. Everybody here, is friends, and your girlfriend out there, Carrie, love her. And so kind of encompass who you are, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit about music.
Yeah, sure. So I've been here in D.C. for about 5 years. Grew up in Ohio, but...
We're sorry.
I'm a lifelong Bengals fan, but...
really sorry.
Yeah, I know. But hey, we're doing pretty good in the last couple of years.
You guys are, but they still suck. Whatever. We have Sam Hartman.
We love Joe Burrow.
We do love Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Joe Burrow's awesome.
I voted Joe Burrow out of my total NFL hunk thing.
I know.
That's terrible.
All right,
That's terrible.
Honorable mention.
He's not hot.
But yeah, I have a 9-year-old, and I started DJing about a year ago. And I grew up in a musical family. Both my parents were musicians, so I did piano growing up and did other musical instruments. I hated it. I didn't really do with it. Well, I didn't hate it. I just was. It was more kind of like a chore. I didn't really fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And then I discovered this sort of passion of mine, and I've always kind of liked to dabble in different stuff, but and I was sort of aware that oftentimes I'll get kind of bored. This is it. I love it.
Well, I think you love the music. All of us go out together. You love this genre of music. Have you always loved this genre of music? Tech,
I have.
house?
So I used to live in Europe, and that was my first sort of. When I fell in love with it 20 years ago. And
Same.
And so
London.
for me, it was just
Dan, where in Europe did you live?
Germany.
Oh, okay. So
And they
Germany's
have
like
a
real
great
big
music
techno,
scene.
right?
Yeah. And London was where I discovered it at 11. So Europe, it was over here too. It was a lot of music was produced underground here and came out here, but you couldn't find it in regular clubs.
Yeah.
Like you would have to go look for it in the United States, but a lot of the music was coming out of here at the time too.
Right.
Which was kind of
It just wasn't mainstream.
backwards.
Yeah.
So they would send it over that way, which I always had thought it came
Right.
out of Europe, but it was actually the opposite. However, when I moved back, you just didn't hear it because it was all underground. Because at that time, house music and there's a big history, and I don't want to go down that road, but it got shunned. I mean, it got shunned. They were burning the records. Remember that?
That's right. Yeah, in Chicago.
And in Chicago, and they had to go.
I remember making
had
fun
to
of one of
go-
my friends who was into like that music. We're like, you want to listen to your whale noises and like no singing
and
lyric songs.
And look at you now. Look at you now.
Well, he's the one that actually took me to Echo Stage for the first time.
Who?
You haven't met him.
Oh, I thought you said Dan.
No,
I'm like, what?
no. My friend, like back in like the night, like he started listening to that music
Back
in the 90s.
in the early 1900s.
In the 19s.
Asshole.
In the 90s. So everybody would make fun of him because he was like the only one.
Yeah.
Into that. And then as we got older, he introduced me to it. He took me to Echo Stage, and I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a late bloomer, Frankie. You're a late bloomer.
Just over here in the prohibition of music. You would sneak the records across county lines.
So you started dabbling. What was that like? And what?
Yeah, so you have to. So one, you have to love the music, but two, it helps if you have, I think, some musical ability because you have an ear for anticipating
Correct.
what's going to come up next, and just being able to sort of lean on some of that musical training that you grew up with helps tremendously, and that certainly helps the learning curve. And if you love doing it and you want to do it, you will get better at it.
Yeah. Well, I think too. You poor thing, you're sweating. Do you want to see this?
Because it's hot in here.
It is super hot. in here.
Yeah.
He's sweating to death.
Dan, when did you finally
Poor
have the
Dan.
courage to be like, I'm going to do it publicly? Like,
So I started playing at like parties and stuff, and then I think just that you just build off of that confidence, and after a while you just get better and better and better, and people love it, and they're like, "This is awesome," and I'm like, "Well, that's awesome because I think it's awesome," and then you're off to the races.
And I think so. What happened? So I had heard, just things I had seen him post or this or that, and then he sent me a set he did.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, no, he sent me a set he had prepared, and he's like, "What did you think of the set?" And I listened to it, and then I was like, this sounds really good because I'm a big transition girl. I pull that apart. That's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I want to know you're going to take me on that journey. So I was like, let me go in my car and listen to it really loud. And I was like, holy shit, to where I was texting some friends of ours that do, club stuff. And I was like, you need to listen to this and tell me if you're hearing what I'm hearing, because I was deeply impressed.
Yeah.
And
I
that
remember you
takes a
told me.
lot to get me deeply impressed. The transitions, the nuances used. And the thing is and I don't know if people can understand, but I think this applies to all music. When you're at a rock concert, when you're at any type of concert, you want to be taken on a full journey down, until the end.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit in my seat and go, I'm bored, I'm ready to go home. And that's what was so beautifully done in the transition.
Oh, thanks. I totally think that musical selection is the most key, the most important thing. And
I agree.
There's all sorts of tricks and there's all sorts of technical skills that you can apply on the decks. But, at the end of the day, it's curating that musical journey for everyone. That's, hopefully they enjoy too.
Yeah, no, it was obviously it was excellent. I won't go and spoil the news yet. I did talk to the other party, but we'll wait till that's all firmed up. But what do you think sets you apart? And then we'll move on from this. What do you think is that unique thing about you? I would say one is the style, and you're very personable and able to engage with an audience when you're DJing. That would be one I would say.
Yeah. No, I definitely have a personality when I'm up there, and I like to party, and it likes to show that I'm having a party. I'm not screaming 1, 2, 3 in a mic, but I'm dancing and I'm smiling, and I'm not stoic.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of people may be kind of stoic like that, and I like to engage, and for me it is going to be a vibe, and I'm going to have fun, and everyone's going to see me have fun.
But yeah, I mean, and I think that also goes to the tone of the music, right? You have Fisher, who's extremely engaging, like you, John Summit, engaging. Those are engaging
Very much
DJs.
so.
Even Dom Dollar, and then you have other ones where it wouldn't make sense for them to engage at all. Like, so I don't blame them. Like, they're not like that.
Art
but
that
then
doesn't get engaged. Right.
But then all of a sudden they'll engage a little bit when they know they hit it. So
That's right.
I'm excited to see where you go. What do you have coming up? Like anything besides the one thing we were referencing?
No, just, prepping. There's, some private parties here and there. I'm going to put out sets every week. So there's going to be another set coming out either tomorrow or Saturday.
Yay!
And then, just.
Are we allowed to have them?
Yeah, sure, of course.
I have
Okay.
a question. What's your DJ persona name?
Oh, it's just Dan.
It's just Dan. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Dan.
It's just my name.
It's just Dan.
It's
Yeah,
just
like,
Dan.
it's just Dan. That's it. Like,
This is DJ name. It's just Dan.
gosh.
it's just there you go.
It's just
It's
Dan.
just Dan.
I'm not that creative to get something like.
No,
Dude,
that's
when
it
they
right
ask,
there.
You
who's
just need
that?
to- you
It's
just
just
need
Dan.
It's funny. So if I had like a goofy last name, maybe
Chat.
like John Summit is John Schuster, right? So he changed his name to Summit because that it's just
I
kind of a
didn't know
lot.
that even.
Yeah, John
Oh, that's
Schuster.
interesting.
Yeah. So, but I don't have that, and I don't know.
Just
For
Dan.
now,
Yeah,
it's just Dan.
It's just
Dan.
Dan.
that's
right.
that's
It's
gonna be
just
for
Dan.
now. So.
It's just Dan.
You know what? We're gonna put it in Chat
There we
GPT
go.
after this.
Oh,
I've
God.
been,
I'm getting a shirt saying it's just Dan.
Dude,
It's
yep,
just
that's it. We're gonna be your walking billboards.
I've been
number
playing
one.
with Chat GPT all last night and today. So
Can you imagine before you come on, we're like, it's just
No,
Dan.
I'm doing
Infinite
it.
It's
rabbit
just
holes.
Dan.
Infinite rabbit holes.
I put in a tagline for a Tribe Called Jess, and I said, funnier, do another funny one. And I got one out of it that I sent Cannifer, and I posted just to see what people said, and they reacted to it a bit. So that was good.
Tribe
Chat-
called Jess. 3.3 inches of rocking the boat.
It's a good generator of that sort of thing.
Yeah,
right?
oh, it's great. I mean, it's great for everything. So
Emails.
Oh, emails. I mean, creating stuff. I mean, it's definitely awesome. So anyway, don't
So
forget.
any moment we should expect like a little text private party come through. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So check out Dan. What is your name on SoundCheck? SoundCheck. SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
Sorry.
Cloud Sound. SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
D Gray 937.
Say that slower for
D
the audience.
Gray Gray 937.
So D Gray
937.
937.
Yeah.
We
That's
need
a
to change
SoundCloud.
that on
it's just Dan.
SoundCloud.
Yeah.
To just Dan.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's just
It's
Dan.
just Dan.
It's
It's just
perfect,
sound-
bro.
Make sure you're going and you're following Dan on SoundCloud. More sets coming up, but listen to the one he most recently posted. So good, you
Yeah, I
won't be
was sick.
disappointed.
I was left out of
I'm really excited to see what you have coming up, where
Awesome.
you're going, and keep working at it. I'm really proud of you, and I'm very impressed.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, do the football sound. What's a football sound? I just want to.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Jess is like getting into
The NFL schedule is out, baby,
That's
which
right.
means coming up, Jess will do in a couple months her top 5 NFL hunks, and that'll be exciting.
And her man's on the team here.
And Jeff gets his hair award back because Harrison Butker, we were going to get there, is out of my hair award. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But you're excited. I'm excited. Fall schedule coming.
Can't wait.
So go ahead, Frankie. This is something you really want to talk about tonight. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, obviously I'm excited because we have new coach,
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of new players.
Who is the coach?
Dan Quinn.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what though? Like obviously when he was with the Cowboys, I was like F him, blah blah blah. But now that he's here, I'm like, man, that guy looks nice and buff. You know, he looks real cool. He looks like a badass.
It's gonna make us into winners.
What Frankie used to say about me, I thought she was a bitch, but now I'm sure of it.
I know. Now it's like it turns out it's a bigger bitch.
I like how you said used to.
Whatever.
But yeah, so I'm excited we get to play the Ravens. So I think we should do a trip up to Baltimore.
Is it a Baltimore game?
I think it's in Baltimore. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a huge Ravens friends. They go all over the country. That's that tailgate I told you.
Yes.
Yeah. And they go all over the country. So what's our first game? I sent you the schedule.
Yeah, we play Tampa Bay away. It's our
What's our first home game?
the Giants.
Oh, okay.
Here at home.
Division game.
Yeah.
Division game, and Kansas City is the opener Thursday night.
Against the Ravens.
Against
it's
the
gonna be
Julio's
a good
Ravens.
one.
I'll wear my Ravens jersey. I'll wear it. And we get to see Sam Hartman on the on the sidelines with that hair. So he's still in my good hair graces.
He can put duct tape on his mouth.
Yeah, just don't
Keep
speak.
quiet, good hair.
Don't speak. He's getting better at the interviews. Maybe it's just me, or maybe he's just, I forget he is like 24 years old.
Yeah, he's still young.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
Travis is much more of a man. So looking forward to that. So a lot of controversy this week revolving around one NFL player from the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion Harrison Butker. And man, he had some polarizing comments to say at his commencement, aka sermon. So before we go down this, I want to make a few notations because I think a few things from being online got a little misconstrued, right?
Yeah.
So I think a couple things. He set off social media. He set off women. He set off the LGBTQ community. Rightly so, fairly so. He even referred to, so now he has the army of Swifties against him because he referred to his teammate's girlfriend's song, Bejeweled, and I'll get to what Bejeweled is about, and it goes against everything he said in the speech, which is ironic. I'm like, and let's remember that Taylor was amazing in Paris, and I watched it live all 3 nights while I worked, and
Paramore was amazing in Paris.
oh, Paramore was excellent. I watched them as well. And
Love Haley Williams so much.
yeah.
I mean, are we
she's
doing
awesome.
like a watch party? Didn't you like record like my favorite songs?
No, I jump on. All you do is go to TikTok influencer Chris Olsen is my favorite. He has a ton of followers, and I watch. He's at every.
Oh, so we're not
show.
hanging out for a watch party? Okay, fine. I thought we were
Oh,
gonna
you
hang out.
can. We
Isn't
can.
it like on Disney
Wow.
Plus or something?
Say no. This is live. Why she's performing in Paris? I'm watching.
Yeah.
And she added tortured poets. Anyway, off subject. So
No, let's keep going. This is-
I want to notate before we start this that, and I need my glasses a bit for this, guys, that there is absolutely nothing. If some man told me right now I didn't have to work at my age and just do my podcast and fun stuff, I'd be like, hell yeah. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a homemaker. Women who stay home work harder than most women I know because it's constant. It doesn't end. They manage finances. They manage the kids, depending on what that is, right? Kids or no kids.
Or there's no clocking out either. It's like a
right.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of working women are also homemakers.
Yeah.
So women are the great multitaskers. So I think where this got a little misconstrued is that women were pissed saying you shouldn't be a homemaker. Nobody's thinking that.
correct.
There's nothing wrong with that. So I want to be clear. Male masculinity back in its proper form and feminine energy back in its proper form for what it's meant to be, there's nothing wrong with that either. And I didn't disagree that he said that. What I disagreed with the following lines that put the context in which he was saying it. It was at a Catholic school.
Yes.
The ironic thing, I don't think the Pope would have said this either, any of the shit that came out of his mouth, but I'm not the Pope. He hasn't. And his mom is a physicist. She works for the Amory, Winship, I think it was, Cancer Center. She has a bachelor's degree, or she has a degree. I don't know if I don't want to insult the woman if it's higher, in chemistry and one in liberal arts, and is a highly, highly successful working woman. Okay. But here's the remarks he made, and I went through the whole speech again today to make sure I didn't misquote. Probably, hold on, I can't read my own notes. Life really, okay, so he went after abortion, IVF, and look, I want to be clear, don't do politics. I'm saying this high level. Why this was not, meaning this was a commencement address. not a political speech. Most of this speech was political. He went after abortion, IVF, euthanization. He went after, he attacked Biden on COVID and abortion, and whether you agree with Biden or not, that's not the point. Again, commencement speech. He went after COVID and the response several times. I'm like, dude, COVID was 4 years ago. Well, I mean, why are we on? He went after gender identity and claimed at a pause in his speech that God had given them this platform, so he was accepting that calling. And I'm like, are you a priest? You're a kicker on the Chiefs, dude. Like, get it together. I did agree with him on the point. He said, we have to be able to bring up hard discussions within our society. I did agree that. I think everybody wants to fight. It's okay to discuss things. He brought up diversity, equity, and inclusion as being problems. He went on to criticize priest after priest and parishes. He often brought religion into politics and basically said it should be a part of each other, which in our Bill of Rights, it completely says it's supposed to be separate, but that's an argument for another day. We need to seek out holier priests and better priests, which, okay, fair. And then I think where he really got women upset, well, here was his first line. He talked about congratulating the school and their school pride. And his line directly was, not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it. Speaking of June's Pride Month for the LGBTQ community. Then he kept saying, stay in your lane and your vocation, which then he led that into congratulations to the woman, and you have been told you have been fed the most diabolical lies. You've had the most diabolical lies fed to you. And I know you're looking forward to your promotions and your careers, but you must be most excited about marriage and beautiful babies, because life starts when you're living in your vocation, referring back to them staying in their lane. And they should lean into it. And then this just struck me as, I could not imagine living with a man that would say this. He's like, my wife gave up her dream of having her career. And that might not have come true for her, but if you asked her, she would be so happy to tell you. And it's the tone in which he said it. I thought that everybody was being like crazy when I was originally, the other day when this first broke, I'm like, oh, this must not be like, people are probably just being silly. And then I started watching TikToks, and then I started seeing all of it. And I'm like, this is a commencement speech about kids who have worked really hard to go out in the world and are excited and proud and need motivation about how they achieve their goals. That is a time and a place, and that's what it is for. This is not a time to, and I wanted to give him grace the entire speech and say, oh, he doesn't mean it bad. He doesn't mean it bad. He means it. No, he means it exactly the way it came out. And what women who were, so I finally found TikToks of women at the graduation who were just like, we didn't even know what to do. Like, we were so like, you just took, in our minds, you just minimized our whole graduation. And you just told a whole community of LGBTQ that they're sinful, Pride Month. I mean, who the fuck are you to get on there and say that at a commencement speech? If you want to do that on a political platform, or go do what you want to do outside, and fight for the rights or whatever you believe in, that is absolutely your right to do so. But you cannot stand there the way he spoke, the tone he used, and tell me you're a God-fearing, Lord-serving, you're a judgmental fucking prick who probably sits there and is so glad and gaslights his poor wife, and she stays home and takes it, because a lot of football wives got on and had long married football wives and had a lot to say. All right, so Dan, I'm going to let you go first, then Frankie.
Well, I mean, I think you're spot on. It's a commencement address. It's supposed to be parting words of wisdom, inspirational words for navigating future adulthood. And what was this? I mean, it's such a weird, political, just angry man raving at the bar, yes. sort of like speech. And if you're an alumni, you have to just feel kind of embarrassed, like, oh my gosh, this is how my school is going to be known. And the other part here is that he's living the dream. The whole speech is about how terrible the world is, and yet he's found a loving relationship that has ostensibly worked well for him and for her. So apparently the sky's not falling because he's figured it out.
Like, I pulled up what he made, and I was like,
yeah, right. So he's fame and fortune, right? And he's doing a job that's very super niche, that it pays well. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not showing up at 5 a.m. at a job site or long haul truck driving. He's got a great life, and his whole speech, his commencement address, was how terrible the world is. And that sort of, it's hard for me to see and empathize with someone who's got it, who's just living a gravy train right now.
Well, and I think too, it's okay to speak about God. It's a Catholic school. It was his tone and the rhetoric and the negative. You're taking our. If that was my son's graduation, I would have made sure I sat there. Whoever that was, I don't care what it was about. If that is the tone they brought to my son's graduation, I would have waited and been like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" My son is going out in the world. I don't need him to think it's all roses, but Jesus Christ, don't leave him like this. And then leave all these women like that. Whatever it is. Like, it was shitty. It's shitty. It's okay to talk about the Lord.
So you've got to put it in context, though.
I did.
He's talking to Catholics, more conservative people, all that.
I did.
So
I said that.
They're probably not as indignant about what he's saying as you are.
They are.
Some of them are, yeah. But
women
he also,
surely
like,
are.
It's like going to the Trump rally and having a liberal person there speaking. Like, you're not going to have that.
Did you watch the whole 27-minute speech? I watched it twice. Like, full.
I don't care what you watch. What I'm saying is...
But it wasn't like that, Jeff. I've watched many Catholic... I mean, I grew up in Philly. Everything graduating was Catholic. This was god-awful.
I understand. But there's probably people on the right that are going, that was a great speech. I mean, that's what I'm saying, is like...
Oh, I didn't look at it as a right or left thing at all. I looked at it,
but it kind of is. I mean, but that's what it is. It's like,
yeah.
I looked at it like
you got to put things into context.
Kids.
If he was speaking at Berkeley, that wouldn't have gone over. But he's speaking at a Catholic college, so it was a more receptive audience. Maybe it wasn't a fully receptive audience, but it's much more receptive than if he was speaking at Berkeley.
He's right. I mean, he's just right. But
midway through, you heard the entire audience gasp. I'm not disagreeing with you, Jeff, but it didn't. You could take all of what you're saying and take that back to the same school and put in religion and even conservatism. I'm not saying that. The tone
So why is everybody so bent out of shape about what somebody else says or thinks? Because you disagree with his point. I don't agree with him, but
I can't tell you that. I'm bent out of shape. I don't think it's right to tell young women that. I don't think it's right to tell gay people that their Pride Month is let me get the exact
but the
quote.
people on the right who do believe that think that it's perfectly acceptable
But
for him
was
to
it
say
necessary to say at a commencement speech?
that's my thing. That's my thing. Is it politically?
I'm okay with the political speech.
But Jeff was right, though. You got to look at where it was given.
For sure.
It's a Catholic school.
You got to put it in the perspective of everybody's perspective. You've got it in your perspective.
I'm not saying your perspective.
Views.
I just think you're not a woman or
his introduction.
I'm definitely not a woman.
I don't think you're gay either.
I'm definitely not gay either. No. That's what I'm saying. But people are going to say offensive things, and he felt comfortable in that setting because he was in a more conservative setting, and maybe he overstepped. But all that does is, like, there's no need for you to be rankled up because who cares if...
Well, that's for me to decide. Yeah. That's for me to decide, just like if you're upset about something or you're upset, that's for me to decide. I'm not mad for me. I don't give a fuck. What I'm mad for is the young women of America. That's just shit. That's a shit thing. We press women be independent and do this and do this. And watch the speech. It was not kind.
I've watched it. I'm not going to examine it. I mean, but that's what I'm saying is, like, everybody gets so bent out of shape about everybody that has a different opinion than theirs,
It
or
didn't feel
different
like an
different
opinion.
thoughts. And I don't like the what's that church that God hates fags. I don't agree with them, but I think that they have the right to say whatever they want because I
Absolutely.
don't care what they say. Because if somebody says something to me that I don't agree with, then I'm going to take it and be like, they're stupid, whatever, and I'm going to move on. And that's where everybody has to take their own life, and you need to coach Nico and the people that you're
I do.
responsible for into.
But I'm trying to do a podcast because it's a trending topic, and I think it needs to be talked about. I did say online today with a gentleman who agreed with him highly, and I said, I think you are right. People are easily want to be offended. So I don't think I'm easily offended. I'm disturbed.
I never said
by
that
the way-
either.
No,
I'm just saying you're
I'm
telling-
saying this guy said this to me about America. He was saying about America. And I retorted, I think you actually have a very valid point on that. People want to just find something to be offended about.
That's for sure.
I will absolutely agree, and it won't affect my day tomorrow. But I think the way it affects younger people is different. I didn't think it was
I'm not
necessary.
saying that. My point is that he was in a more receptive audience to be able to say that than if he was, like I said, at Berkeley or something
agree
else.
with that.
It's not like you can't be like shocked that someone that is speaking at a more conservative college says something that is maybe over the line. And then you can't be shocked when people walked out on Jerry Seinfeld because he's Jewish.
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, you should be just as outraged about that as you should about.
Well, that went on both sides.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying is like, I wasn't shocked that people walked out on Jerry Seinfeld either. I don't think that's right. I think that's just as wrong or more wrong than what he said. You know, I mean, it's just that's the reality of
I think
the world.
Harrison Butker is a piece of shit. I don't care. Go live with your wife and whatever. And I feel bad for your kids. And that's my opinion. And I'll hold that opinion.
And you're on a more liberal way to speak your mind here, so people shouldn't be offended by you saying that you're offended by him. I mean,
people
that's what I'm
say
saying.
they're
Like,
offended by me all the time. I don't give a fuck.
yeah, I know.
But
But he doesn't give a fuck either.
I know he doesn't.
But
he's being talked about all over the media to where NFL had to make a statement. So it matters to have a discussion because it's being discussed on a podcast. I just think there was a time and a place for that tone and for the things he brought into that speech. And then to quote Taylor, which was a Bejeweled song, which is about a woman getting her self-worth back and going back out into the world, was a complete farce. I was like, you're stupid.
Yeah, but what he quoted
it was funny.
A known saying. I mean,
it was a direct line from her song.
Yeah, the direct line from her song is a saying. It was on, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was on TMZ, but it's
not conformity creates resentment. When you do something over and over again. Hold on, I wrote it down. Anyway, go ahead. Continue. I'll find it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is I saw it on TMZ last night, and of course they're very liberal, so they were getting super offended.
Jeff, you know I take both conservative and liberal values, so I'm not going to be pigeonholed into any corner. I'm not
pigeonholing anybody. I'm just making a point that you're outraged that
well, I have a vagina too, so I'm a bit outraged. Sorry. I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that can't be your argument. I have a vagina. That's not a good argument.
It's not a good argument, but I've had men, in career ditch out on me or do certain things that I know damn well they wouldn't do. So I can go down a rabbit hole with this. I don't want to go down, but yeah, I probably take it a little more personal than all of you.
A lot more personal.
And I'm allowed to, frankly.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm just making
that
observation.
Show. You're allowed to do whatever you want.
No,
I was merely pointing out that it shouldn't be surprising that someone speaking at a more conservative college commencement.
I started out saying that. I get it. He was talking at a Catholic school. I didn't expect him to not be talking. I just didn't expect that tone. And I'm not mad at you, Jeff.
Sure.
Like,
no.
I've listened
let me tell you my opinion on how I viewed it. I agree with Jeff, what he said. It's all in context, right?
Real quick.
Right?
Familiarity brings contempt.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a well-known saying.
Sorry, I had to find it.
So it's not like she made that up
no,
either.
But
he borrowed something that is
Correct.
said on a daily basis.
But he
pretty
said
much.
in her song, and where he got this.
He quoted her
where
song.
he went wrong
yes.
was I was like, oh God, now you got the Swifties mad
Well,
at
he
you.
quoted her because there was a lot of females,
I mean, believe
so they
me,
can
he
relate.
stepped all over himself.
That was
like,
comical.
yeah.
That part I meant to be comical.
He as they
That
say,
was
shit the bed with what he did.
fair.
But
Yeah.
it's not surprising. It's like somebody said something dumb at a Trump rally, like
I don't think anything shocks me.
Yeah.
or
somebody said something dumb at a Bernie Sanders rally. I mean,
Yeah.
they're two sides of the same coin,
Correct. And I'm always say that we have to find equal footing all together and have good discussions like
Sorry
this.
to derail you guys.
No, I like it.
No, your point is
because you get
pretty
me
good.
heated up, but it allows me a space. I don't like to say too much because I don't like to get into.
I don't get you heated up. That's just your menopause.
Not. I'm not in menopause yet. I'm
That's
in
just your-
perimenopause.
That's only Halle Berry.
I'm in perimenopause. That's what we'll call it now. I'm in my Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Sounds
No,
better.
she's full on apparently.
Oh, is she? Uh-oh.
She announced it. You didn't see that?
Oh, did she?
Oh, like she screamed it out.
Oh, wow.
I have menopause or something like that. Yeah, it was
God.
crazy.
Oh, God. All right, Frankie, go ahead.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
No, go.
So he bucked the
You
kid.
can't do that. We're on a
No,
show.
because it's look the way I saw it. Because what I paid most attention to was his introduction. He made it clear where he was coming from. It was a biblical point of view. It was a religious point of view. It was a spiritual point of view. It was basically what God thinks, his opinions, and what the world is. And the world is viewed as dominated by Satan. That's what it was. It
that
wasn't.
was fine.
Yeah, and that's why. So he said. So the stuff I'm gonna say, he even said it. It's not gonna be popular, but I feel that I've been given a chance to talk about it. He made it loud and clear when he started. Now, of course, people are gonna get offended, but he only talked about what they teach at the Catholic school. He just reiterated that. So, of course, when you're conservative, when you don't believe in certain things, and most of the people, he said, most people practice this stuff, it's going to be offensive.
If I call a friend and I'm like, you were kind of really shitty today, but I understand what's going on, or I call a friend and say, you know what, you were a complete fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah. There's a way to say things. The way he worded the thing about pride, the way he worded it to women, I think there is a better way to say things, especially in a public forum when you are a Super Bowl winning public forum kicker where that message is going. Look, it would have stayed there had he not done that. Now it's projected into the world. So I think there were better bringing God and that and all that. That's absolutely fine. I think saying the message he conveyed to women when that they're getting their degrees and some of them in debt and whatever. I mean, I think that was bad, and the pride thing was bad. And
I think the real tragedy
And
here
what
is
is-
the proofreader that was assigned to him.
the PR person.
Yeah.
Obviously, they
because-
approved it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But someone could have
If
been like,
they
yeah,
had
maybe
one.
say it differently. Run this by me one more time. Think of who's going to be
Well,
that type of situation.
we all react differently. To me, he gave his opinion. He gave a speech to
That
a
was like-
crowd.
Yeah, but the way, tone of voice, the way he says things, like, I could go to, like, Jess, like, no offense, Jess, right now, I'm going to say, like, bitch, or bitch. Like, which one sounds better?
That's what I was trying to say. I don't think it's wrong to say there is in their religion, especially Catholicism. I mean, I grew up with Catholicism all around me in Philly. I don't think it's wrong to be excited about, if they're preaching and these women want to be wives and kids, not at the expense of how he led into that. About just basically.
Okay, I could say his delivery wasn't great, but the message was understood. So I choose to react how I'm going to choose to react. I might not agree with a lot of his stuff, but I'm not going to let their principles, their beliefs affect me to that point.
I didn't think
to get that upset. Personally.
I didn't think in a commencement speech he needed to bring in IVF and this and that. I was like, what does this have to do with them
That's the
graduated?
point.
That it didn't have anything to do with. You could inspire them through God going out in the world and carry God with them and all the choices they make in their career and be strong. And, all of those things could have been encompassed in such a positive message. Why would that not have been a better choice? I guess would be my.
I mean,
answer.
I guess in retrospect,
Did
you could
watch
correct
all
certain
27
things.
minutes?
But look,
Yes?
I don't want to get. Yes, I don't want to get into it too much.
Why?
You and I can discuss that afterward.
No, that's what the show is for. That's why we're on a show.
No, because it's not. What I'm saying is, look, it's sometimes like you shoot the messenger, right? Like listen to the message. Like you put too much emotion into things. Catholics are pro-life, right? So of course you're going to be really hard about what they think about it. You know, I'm pro-life too.
Did you think that was necessarily at a commencement or at a graduation speech?
It's a Catholic school that's taught principles.
What does that have to do with graduation?
Because that's what they were taught when they were there. So what he said, basically, in a
No, he
in
went after
summation,
politics
in
at that
summation,
point,
right?
not about
If I
them.
summarize it, he said, "You're going into the world, right, with these beliefs that you've been taught. You're going to be facing opposition. You know, we don't believe in homosexuality. You're going to deal with
That's not
pride."
what he said.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not how he said
led
it.
up to let's say whoever the president is, I don't care, guys. I don't care. He led up to that with bills that were being passed, and that he made it all about politics.
Okay, of course he makes.
And then IVF and like what?
Yeah, because these are once again, you got to look at it in a different angle, right? These are the people that are being used to push these things. So if he said the leader of the world, Biden, you know, believes in this stuff, it goes against everything they were taught. So those are the things you're going to face in the world, in the workplace. Your beliefs are always going to be tested out there.
I've never faced IVF for abortion in my workplace.
It's not just about you, Jessica. I'm talking about in general. You're making it so personal about yourself. That's where you're getting so worked up.
I don't think most people face that in their workplace. I don't understand what you mean.
Your whatever principles and standards you're taught will always be tested when you're at home. It's where your sanctuary, right? You grew up in certain values, certain principles, so you practice that in a safe environment. But when you step out that door, whatever you believe in, whatever your morals and your standards are, will be tested, because people will believe different stuff, right? And there's extremes on both sides. So when you go out there in the world, now that you're graduating, now that you're going to be an adult, you're going to find yourself being tested when it comes to abortion, when it comes to like certain standards and morals. That's what he was saying. Was his delivery great? It wasn't. It could have been done much better. But that's the point that I got from it. I didn't take it personal. I looked behind what he was trying to say.
Right.
He did
Fair
a horrible
enough.
job delivering it. But
No, fair enough.
He's not a speaker. He even said he wasn't going to do that. They asked him, and here he found himself
He did
an
one prior.
opportunity. He
He
said,
had done a commencement speech prior, and he said he'd never do it again.
yeah, but he said he was surprised he was there, but they asked him. He found an opportunity to be able to, be more than what he is. But obviously he didn't do a great job.
Yeah.
But I personally choose to see behind his message what he was trying to say. And I didn't take it personally. If he doesn't believe in this stuff, that's fine.
I definitely tried to give him grace throughout the speech. I kept trying to find the silver lining, and then I couldn't when I watched it. I won't say full 3 times, 2.5. Like, I just was like, this is just not okay with me, the way he's delivering. But fair enough. Julio, did you have any opinion? We'll move on to the...
No, just it was he kicked that football and he totally missed the field goal.
Fair enough.
That's pretty much how to wrap
enough.
that up.
That's a good summary right there.
I did agree with. I do want to be fair. Besides it, I did agree with. We are a fatherless society. Absentee fathers. We are the highest, I think, of all the countries. We need to do hard things as men and women. He said more men, but I think women too.
I just think the roles in the family are all upside down. People don't realize what they are, and they don't want to follow the.
Well, I like to be a fair dealer. I like to pick. I tried to pick out parts where I was like, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, what he said was the way his delivery on that was good, and I thought that was very fair. We need to be accountable for our children and babies we're creating, and be fathers and mothers to them if they come into this world. So, but I'm sure there'll be more to come. Dan, any final thoughts on it?
No, it's just another example of how everything has to be politically polarized to the extreme. And it just, thinking back 20 years ago, commencement addresses were about bringing people together and not looking for opportunities to like go hard on one way or the other to the extremes. And
I agree with that.
It's just tiring.
Should be
It's just
about the
so
kids.
tiring.
It is tiring. I will agree. I would hope that anybody giving a commit, I don't care who you are, just uplifts. And that's what it always was for us, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to the school to dictate that. I want you to give a commencement speech.
Totally, 100%.
Keep it. These are the things you're not allowed to touch. Like the show, our show, Jess. We said a couple of things we're never going to discuss, right? And we
Not yet.
never discuss it.
Yes. This is.
I was just going to say, but by almost telling the schools not to discuss it, then it almost gives a group like the green light that, oh, I'm going to be a rebel and bring this up because it's going to be live and they can't do anything to stop it. And
I'd be shocked if they didn't
It's
know
hard.
that he was going to say that.
Yeah, then that's support judgment on.
Nobody's going to bring a kicker from the NFL to do your commencement address unless it's something like this.
Get Michael Keaton.
He's got
next
something
time.
to say. They knew what he
kills
was
Well,
gonna
no,
commencement
he
speeches.
has been very outspoken, not just in speeches. There are many things he has said out in the public eye that have been not definitely. I'm like, whoa.
Okay, so then they knew he has a track
I,
record.
of course, I would be shocked.
That's what I'm
if they didn't
saying.
know.
It's like
I'd be shocked
It's
if they
not
didn't
just
know.
him. It's obviously he was the person that they wanted him to deliver certain things, and he did.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest of the world got to see it and get react how they want to react.
Like I said, next time they should get Michael Keaton. He has the best speeches,
He
and he
does.
ends them with,
I know, that's a good
and
one.
then everyone loses their shit, and they're like,
that's a
let's
good
go,
one.
let's all be Batman in this world.
But I agree though, like this, it's a happy moment. You succeeded, right? You finished college.
Yeah.
It should be like we prepped you for this. Go out in the world and follow your dreams. Stuff
kick
like
some
it should be
ass.
like that.
There are some NFL kickers who have inspiring life stories to tell.
Kicker.
Oh.
I mean-
just because he's a kicker, let's
Ben
not
Simmons.
minimize
I'm
the
just,
fact that
I'm
he's a
just
kicker.
like they have something interesting to say. That's like, wow, that's inspiring.
Yeah. I think everybody in the world has great things to
Sure.
say and could be more inspiring than that. But we'll leave it. I think Jeff's right. Everybody has their opinion. I mean, I'm going to keep mine. I take the good things out of it, and I probably will never give two fucks about that dude again. And he will not make my NFL top 5
Let's
list.
go for 2 points. Let's not go for the extra point. Let's go for 2. Let's go for 2, Jess.
The only I love
Don't kick it.
The best thing is right after Patrick Mahomes came in total support of women's sports extra. He went overboard. I felt like good thing. I like that. And then they asked him, "Do you talk to him?" Obviously, and he goes, "Nope. Once at the beginning of the year, once at the end. I don't talk to him at all." And he was dead serious. And I'm like,
Nope.
It's like, here I go again now to save the Chiefs' face.
but to wrap it up, in terms of that discussion, I don't think everybody's entitled to their opinion. And so women out there and our LGBT community, keep doing you. You can do whatever you want in this world, anything you want in this world, and don't let stupid kickers on. I only like the Chiefs because of Travis on the Kansas City Chiefs tell you
Now only because of
a bunch
Travis.
of bullshit. So anyway, moving away from that, Julio had a question.
Yes, I did.
All right, go ahead, and we'll make it fun again.
I know. I mean, with this question, hell yeah. All right, but I just need to give a little context. I was
Okay.
on my break at work going through the Instagrams, as someone
The
would say over here.
Instagrams make fun of me.
Yeah, and they posted like one of these dating profiles.
Oh yeah, this was funny.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna read it real quick. So she's like, the only reason I want a boyfriend is so that when I'm singing Fergalicious and it's at the part where she says, I be up in the gym just working on my fitness, he's my witness. I can point to him and he'll do the little woo ooh part because right now I have to do both parts by myself. And it's stressful because right after the woo ooh part, I have to get right back into rapping and the transition is harder than you think.
Dude, I died when I read that.
So did I. But wait, when I read it, I was like, I kind of want a guy to do my TikToks with me. I have a girl coming over because it's a TikTok I can't do by myself.
Right.
And I'm like, but it's so trending right now. So I'm like, I need help. So I asked, is Nancy? I was like, can you come over? You're the only one I know that'll do this with me. And I'm like, I want a boyfriend to do those things with too. And I want a boyfriend to dress up like Taylor and Travis with me. So your question was?
It leads up to, why do you really want a boyfriend or girlfriend?
So I can answer, and then I want Dan's insight because you.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell a little golf story because I love how you articulate this discussion. But I think for me, the reasons I wrote down, because I'm definitely ready for a relationship. Like, I was out Sunday and so many things were happening, right? And I'm like, I want to share this with somebody, which I wasn't doing prior, right? So I thought about it, and as independent as I am, and I love being independent, I don't think that'll ever not be a part of me. I am equal or more so nurturing. I love helping, taking care of, cooking for, that, showing love. I'm very affectionate.
Not cuddling, though.
Yes, I love cuddling, just not with fucking Frankie because he needs to get
She
warm.
said, "You're not my man, so I'm not cuddling with you.
Fuck off me.
I don't care if you're freezing to death."
And I feel like
True
I'm
story.
at a point, I don't think I've ever been super codependent, but I'm at a point where I respect someone else's time and barriers because I want mine too.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of them doing that and going out and supporting their goals and doing some team efforts together, but also doing our own thing as well in terms of goals and sharing those wins like we talked about.
Yeah,
And
have your own
it makes me
identity.
feel happy as to where prior to your marker, I didn't really, I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then what John Caniford said, dream together. Like, I want someone to dream with me. I have the entrepreneur spirit. I also want someone to gym with me, not up my ass. Just like have that like camaraderie. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that in a relationship. And it's definitely something I've said as a prerequisite, not a six-pack guy.
Or maybe drive to the gym together and you do your workout, he does his.
And yes, that, or
Yeah.
not always, just like,
Or, go to the
Speak
gym
a
together. She
cheerleader.
drops him off at the children's center so he can be
Correct.
distracted.
I just like that. And then the other thing is I hate fucking doing my car shit. I just want someone to take care of this bullshit. I tried it. No, I got my coolant finally. I'm trying to do it. As soon as I go to do it, I'm like, wait, one video is saying drain it, one's not. Do I put distilled water? Don't I put? I'm so confused, you guys. And I'm like, my car's gonna. So tomorrow, I'm going to figure this out by myself. I'm very
Still?
upset.
It's been like a month.
No, it's fine. I checked it before. Beamer acts like the car's going to blow up 10 months before it blows up.
The countdown
Jessica
starts
is like
now.
in a group chat. This is why I need a boyfriend. This is
but-
boyfriend stuff. I hate this part.
And I do want a Viking. We said that. And I do want my Travis Kelce. Like, I do want somebody to take care of me. And I'm not talking financial. That would be fine, too. But because I'm tired of fucking working. I am the one. I'll stay home. Pick me, Harrison. Pick me. I'm just kidding, guys. I had to make humor. It got way too intense. Okay, so on Call Her Daddy, Alex Cooper, who is the most highest paid woman podcaster, love her, female podcaster on the planet,
about a rock star for a
had
second.
her and her fiance were laying in bed one morning talking. And they had this conversation, and it piqued my interest because he's like, it's so crazy. Every time we go out, and we hear this among our guy friends, right? You hear this among guy camaraderie. And I get some of it. That's all it is guy camaraderie, right? And they'll say, yeah, left the ball and chain today. And look, some of that is simple, and I'm leaving that alone. Then you have your guys, and there's a lot of guys that do this too, and they're like, oh, God, got away from that fucking bitch. I am not saying that if you have but this is a trend. Women don't generally talk like that. And I'm like, you are talking about the woman that you love. In this context, like, it is a fucking joy. First of all, there's a problem if that's the way your relationship operates, right? It shouldn't be like that. It's so sickening to hear when they're being shitty. I'm not talking about normal
Playful
shit.
banter, yeah,
But,
like just joking around, yeah.
So I had mentioned this. We were talking. I had called you about the DJing,
Right.
and I went off about myself. I'm like, I'm so sick of this shit. And I was telling you this story, and you said, and I want you to clarify this. Most
Yeah.
people are seeking a partner, not a best friend. And you and Carrie have such a great relationship.
Yep.
And I wanted you to kind of speak to that.
Yeah, I think a lot do. I think people are looking for a certain role, and they're looking for that partner. But when they think of a partner, they're thinking of the person that's going to fulfill a certain part of their life. And that could be sort of a male or female role model, or validation. Things to do that I would do as a couple, and I need a person to do that. And
just because
just
almost.
because.
Just because
Right,
almost.
exactly.
That's not their intentional thinking or their conscious thinking, but it is.
Right.
It's just like, I have to do this because I'm told I have to do this.
Exactly.
Or I want to share. I don't
Right.
want to die alone.
Right. And they tend to hang out with other guys that don't hang out with their partners or girlfriends. And that's just, it's very much those lives don't really interact a lot. And if they do, it's very different than when they're hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
And you gave an example. You're like, granted, you guys could do things apart, but you're not seeking that out. I want you to put it
No.
into context. What is seeking a best friend over?
Well, I mean, so there isn't anything I don't want to do with Carrie. I don't want to do with my partner. And like, that's like, we love to fun, have a good time. And like, there's nothing that, well, you know, I'm going to have this night for the boys. I mean, there are things that happens when I'm just out with guy friends, but it's not like something I crave or I need to do this time without her. I mean, there are things that we do separately, and there's things that I, you know, will do that you know she doesn't do or doesn't participate in. But you know, like the DJ stuff or whatever, and she'll come, you know, be, you know, to be a great cheerleader, be support. But it's not like this.
It's not codependent.
It's not like you do it. It's not like you do that to get away from her.
No, and there's a lot of guys who look for opportunities. They're like,
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go.
I think that's
I'm gonna
what
go.
I'm
That's what it
trying
means, yeah.
to-
Right.
There we go.
There's a lot of guys hitting the ball on the golf course because they want to get away from the
Or there's a lot of guys like that. You notice this, and I noticed this a lot when people started to go back in the office. People are, especially women, were way more efficient at home. We just, oh my God, we can get our laundry done, and I can send 50,000 emails, get this sales done, blah, blah, blah. I've worked always from home, right? Go into office, everybody wants to do this. But I found a lot of male and females too included, because I don't want to I'm not downing anybody, but a lot of the rhetoric when I was in more corporate environment at the time was, yeah, I just fucking fuck away from my wife. And then they wanted to drag everyone. I'm like, just because your relationship problems, don't make me sit on 66 for 2 hours.
And then when I go to the bar after work, and they would
Yeah.
want to, you know, they don't want to get home till 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so I mean, I think
So it's not like let's do happy hour just so we can have a beer and relax. It's like
And that's
let's do happy
fine.
hour because I don't want to go home.
There's a lot of.
it's a lot,
like
dude.
that.
And when I bartended, you know, for years and years ago, I can attest to you hear a lot, and I think it makes me. I can honestly say, my ex-boyfriend and ex-husband never were. He had that mentality. Why would I go off on Sunday? You're cool to hang out with, right? Doesn't mean we have perfect relationships, obviously.
And there are people who love golfing. It's just an example.
Yes,
right?
that's just an example,
Not
guys.
just-
We're not attacking
All right.
golfers.
It's
And I
not,
think it's just a
but-
reflection of how the communication has deteriorated, how the relationship is not really going the way it's supposed to go.
I know. I think it's people that
It
like
doesn't come out of
they're not looking
nowhere.
for that.
I think it's partner choice.
I think it's partner choice. It's like they're not looking for like someone that wants to be their friend. That like, you know, I tell
They're
everybody
just
to share their
partnering up
life.
because they just
Just to
can't
do
stand
it.
being
It's just
alone.
like that is right, and there's a wall separating those two lives.
Like, think of it this
So-
way, bro. Something that you probably could understand better. You want a Whopper, that great, delicious burger, but
Such a dick.
you're just gonna be
Here we
selling
go.
for any
Hit 'em.
old burger
Hit 'em.
from like 7-Eleven. See, the quality there is not the same. Instead
Ridiculous.
of looking
Very
for that
different.
higher, you know,
Frankie's
Whopper
pissed.
burger,
Frankie's pissed
you
all around. I'm
just
gonna have to.
have that
No, I'm not
shitty
pissed. What I'm
7-Eleven
saying
one.
is, but also like, I mean, when it comes to relationships, right? You wanna, when you have your standards, the things you want to start off the best possible way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But that's just the beginning, and then from that you work. You got to keep working until you die.
Correct.
In a relationship. So I don't necessarily think they settled or this or that, but it could lead into that. Sometimes it could be what you said, where
I think it goes back to what you and I talk about personally, and here, nobody's being intentional, right?
Yeah.
I want to move this along a little bit because we coming on time, but Matthew Husey, who is I think relationship coach. He's all over TikTok. You've seen him on Instagram. You sent me some of his stuff, right? I thought this was interesting. Just because, and this goes back to your point, just because you have a great connection with a guy or girl doesn't mean they're right for you. And I think we get caught up in connection. And he said you might have different goals. You might be at stages of life. Somebody might be unwilling to take that next step with you. And this was my favorite thing. It really put perspective for me, is don't ever assume anyone will value your time as much as you do, even if they love and care about you, because most people don't value their own time, and people will waste decades of their time because you let other people do that, right? Because we're not intentional. I thought it was a great statement. It made me reflect because I'm so conservative with my time. I feel rightly so. I need to give a little more, but I think it goes back to the basic, like is basic as fuck. Like we're getting caught up in connection. Connection's just connection. Energy's hard to break. I hate good energy. I hate a good energetic connection with someone. I'm like, fuck.
I just think that's immature and shallow to just base it on that. I mean, it's a small percent, like a small part of a relationship.
It's 3.3 of a
3.3, not 5.5.
So that's just a little part.
And then to kind of, I'll wrap this up and we'll get into our funny sign off. He said we need to start telling ourselves better love stories or we're going to make ourselves really unhappy. So we need to, the right person for us is the one that chooses us. And the ones that don't choose us could never be the right person for us because they're just an idea and ideas are cheap.
Exactly.
like that movie.
And I thought that was really, really good. We're telling ourselves, oh, connection is so good, but we're not saying, wait, I really want to be intentional. I want to know if all these things are good for me. Not overthinking it, guys.
You fall in love with the idea of being in a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, I think kind of goes back instead of really.
I mean,
telling-
Hollywood music, a lot of it plays into that. Because when I was a kid, all the music
absolutely.
mom played.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, I had a broken heart when I was already 7 years old from all the music mom had heard.
Did you hear Frankie? He used to play love songs on purpose to make himself cry, even as an adult.
No.
Yeah.
This is why he
Oh, I
likes.
told you that. Yeah, I
This
was
is
like-
why he likes Harrison Bucker. You said it on air.
You know, I remember that. Yeah.
I'm kidding about the Harrison Bucker.
So when my heart was broken, I was ready for it. I was like, yeah, that's how I really
He would
feel.
get excited, and I'm like,
I don't know
Yeah.
about excited, but I accepted and took it all in.
Yeah,
The story had been
Yeah.
painted. You just wanted to.
I play the
Re-realize.
music so that I will like cry and get it all out. I'm like, make me cry. All right, guys. So to wrap it up, does anybody have any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, you suck.
And I love all of you, Jeff. I love you.
Love you too.
Oh, okay. Let me make sure we're all okay.
He's like, you emotional menopausing bitch.
Whatever. He has menopause too. Whatever.
Menopause.
Anyway, to end the show, so
I
there's
have
this podcast.
menopause, thank you.
See, I'm menopause or
Period.
I'm Holly Berry and he's menopause.
We should all go have a drink and an appetizer afterwards to make sure we're all okay.
I'm fine. I love you guys.
That's what she
if
said
we
last
can't-
time when she thought I was upset, right?
That's
She
true.
wanted to go have a drink and some appetizers just to make sure I was okay.
People want to have heated discussions, and when I do, I get heated. I get animated. I can't
Really?
help
We
it.
couldn't tell.
Well, whatever.
Thanks for letting us know because I wasn't sure if you were upset
if you
or
want
anything.
less or basic, go find that podcaster.
Lesser Basic Podcast coming to you.
go ahead. They're
Welcome
out
to
there.
this boring
You can sit
and
on-
basic.
You can sit on their couch and not in Jeff's nice studio.
Welcome to the 3.3 podcast.
Welcome to the 3.3 and not the 10-inch podcast.
Whoa.
All right. So real quick, it's called the I've Had It With You podcast. And so they talk about things. There are two older ladies that are older than me.
Okay, yeah.
And they have a little bit of a southern twang, and I love them. And they talk about shit that just annoys the fuck out of them with people.
Like old people.
And today I came across it, and they said when people have to announce they're taking a social media break, and they're like, I'm getting off social media. There's too many toxic people. I'm sure I did it at one point. I'm sure I did. I wouldn't have done it in
I mean, well,
less than
doing it is
10
one thing, but
years.
having to announce it.
And then she's like, and then you see the little green light in about 10 days, and the rebirth comes. And I
Sorry,
go,
guys, I was up for Lou. I needed a break.
so I try to think of things that drive me crazy. And when people do, I don't even know if this is an option. I feel like I've seen it. John, do you know? It's complicated. And they change their relationship, or they post their arguments, or like, guys, my guy was an asshole. Didn't talk. And I'm like, oh my God, like your Facebook, your opinion, just like Harrison Bucker, you know, hey, your opinion. Whatever. I hate you, Harrison. No, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. But like, I'm like, okay. Or half-eaten food. I'm like, post the whole food. Like, I don't want to see your I gag. So, does anybody else have any?
I do. I have one that really, I'm so tired of it.
What?
Those stupid commercials with I'm tired of the term short king. Right? Short kings. I'm like the heck?
They gave you a whole nice name.
It's like I need that term, right? So I dismiss that. But
I
then,
like that you said that. That's good.
yeah, then the fact that they talk about like, how tall are you? Oh, I'm only 6 foot. Oh, well, would you like to be 6'3"? We have these insoles, these special shoes. And then the girls are like, oh my God, you're so tall. I'm like, what the hell?
Commercials are you
What
getting?
commercial
What
is
ads are you
that?
getting?
Dude, it's
What
always
happens
on my
when you get home and you
feed.
take your shoes off and you're like, what the fuck?
It's always on my
What
feed.
happened? What happened to the other 3 inches of you?
You are getting
What
targeted.
happened when you
It's in
take your
between
pants
my
off and you got the
pants.
extension going?
Jeff, you know what I'm going to say. It's like the
3.3 inches.
No, it's when the girls remember the chicken cutlets before everybody had breast implants.
Yeah.
And you used to go to Victoria's Secret and they look like chicken cutlets. You
Yeah.
put them in here, and I'm like, I wonder what it's like. And I got right after they came out, I had my boobs done. But I'm wondering, do you just pull
Yeah.
the flapping chicken?
Okay.
Sorry, my tits.
What
Well,
about
now that
the
you-
butt
well, now that you
implant
said that-
inserts they have?
They have inserts for your
Yeah,
ass.
the same thing for like the breast. They have the little inserts for you slip into the back of your pants to give you a booty, to get your little implant BBL, and then you take this chick home. She takes her pants off, and you're like, wait, what the?
Yeah, I'm tired of all that
What
stuff.
the hell is this
I'm
speed
so
bump
annoyed
laying
by
in the
it.
middle of my kitchen?
I mean, I remember one of my buddies when we were like, I don't know, like 18 or something, and he took a girl home. He goes to me, bro, it was dark, right? So we're about to fuck. And then I step on this like silicone.
She had a dick?
No, it was the filler things, whatever they put on the pads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
He's
a
like,
chicken
he stepped on it.
cutlet.
Yeah. He stepped on it. He's like, what the fuck is this? And then he goes for the boobs. It's like little tiny breasts.
And there's nothing wrong with small breasts.
No, but he was just saying he was.
It's
'cause-
just a false
yeah, exactly.
Catfishing.
But to me, it's just
Hey,
that mainly the
filter.
insole stuff.
I
It's just, I'm tired of it.
I
Like,
use filters too, so it's the same. I can't,
yeah.
you know.
Guys just.
What is yours?
Anytime social media brings out the worst in people, and it's that whole
Yeah.
relationship status thing, and then openly just being just trashy with your ex and just letting it all out
Yeah.
for everyone to see.
Yeah.
It brings out the worst in people. Ugh.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. It's uncomfortable.
Oh, it's the worst.
DJ stealing other DJs' mixes and posting as their own.
Damn, John.
Well, I'm trying to give all podcasters, like I always say, I saw this and it's a therapist on TikTok, but I'm trying to say their names.
I remember one more.
Because the new TikTok thing is anybody's like, that is what I said. And I'm like, well, isn't the point of you saying it to get the good message? Not everyone follows you. And I'm like, I'm not claiming it as mine. So they're all upset. So
That's
I'm
an-
trying
yeah.
to say their names.
I'm claiming 3
What?
points.
Or when they're DJing a private party and they say, "Oh, I'll invite you next time."
What do you mean?
You weren't even here. You were out of the country, dude.
I just said, "Damn."
Just I literally went over your head.
I got it now. I got it. You have one before I sign off here?
The term "the ick." I hate. That.
I say it all the time.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
Yeah.
I think I hate it in certain things, but like I said it on
The ick gives me the ick.
I said this gave me the ick, but I do agree that word isn't great, but I do use it. I'm guilty.
Webster, keep it out of the dictionary. Please.
Well, Dan, thank you so much
You
for
bet.
hanging in there. You
Anytime.
came in on an intense one. They're usually not that intense. That was
I mean,
pretty
he was
intense.
sweating.
It was super hot in here. It was very, very hot in here.
No,
I'm sorry
I
we
like-
have popcorn.
Good
Look,
now.
I like
Open the door.
I like the banner because once in a while, I think 4 times in the last year we've gotten like that. But I watch back and it's good. It's good entertainment and it's good discussion and it opens the door. I think what I like about that real quick and then we'll sign off is even though we get like that, and you know especially when it pertains to women or something I'm more sensitive to because I do have a vagina. We think.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Let's see.
I do think it shows how we can talk. We might not agree. We might get a little heated for a minute, but it never gets like we're mad at each other.
I mean, I don't take it personal.
And I enjoy that about friends. That's why I've
Yeah.
stayed close to each person in the room because
Yeah.
I can, and the close girlfriends I have. We don't agree. Nancy and I have completely different views,
Yeah.
and we will have heated, not disrespectful,
Correct.
heated discussions, like kind of like that sometimes,
Yeah.
and we're fine. And we
Yeah,
walk
I'm-
away, and you know what? I take something from Jeff, and I go, okay, that's fair. I look back on
Yeah.
that and reflect, that's fair. I'll take that. I understand why you think that way. I don't agree, but I do understand, and I'll reflect on it. I value how you articulate things and put them together in your opinion. We're a lot like-minded in that way, but I mean, I like the differences
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna allow myself that you're wrong all the time to get me upset and stuff.
Anyway,
You know?
with that, to our audience, thank you for always agreeing with me and not Frankie. Just kidding. Just kidding. Look, guys, we're going to sign off now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be right back here next Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Take good care, guys.
Later.
3.3.